President Tom, fellow Alliance and guests, we have one, Mayor Willis.
Yay!
Wallis. I'm sorry. It's Wallis. I didn't have my glasses on, sorry.
All right, I love life. It's all yours.
Maybe. Thank you, Tom. And Rose.
President Tom, fellow Lions and guests, there's 20 happy dollars, and I'll try to make it short, Skip, but for 20, I should be able to talk a lot.
No, you need to go quick. The ink's not dry.
Okay.
The ink's not dry.
Anyway, I am very grateful to see all your smiling faces today. It is so nice to be able to walk in someplace and smile at someone and they know you're smiling.
My ice cream.
And my other grateful, hopeful dollar is I left Miss Abigail uncrated up to date. And she's already made the security camera go off 20 times. So, but I know she's going in and outside checking to see if I've come through that garage door yet. So hopefully my house will be intact when I come home.
Thank you, Rose. Money, money, money. Who's got money? Shut up, Skip. Oh, I should be nice to you because you're helping me. I'm not going to get
She's
fired.
not fired.
Skip, I'll help her. She doesn't have to be nice to me.
Tom Hughes. Yeah, put your badge on, dude.
If they do a report on
Happy and sad dollars. Broken tibia in Virginia 3 weeks
Kevin
ago.
Ford, if they do a
Broken tibia 3 weeks ago. Happy news.
yeah.
Oh, fellow Lions and guests and President Tom, sorry. Good name, by the way, Tom. Great name. So, I broke the tibia, doing some stupid stuff, of course. Good news is my TV came in, 65-inch high def, so.
Really, what do you need that big of a TV for? Are you blind?
No, gaming.
Oh.
Split screen gaming, so we each have 30 inches.
Only 2.5 feet.
Well, yeah,
My
okay.
first TV is 12 inches.
Are you sure about that?
It's not ready.
Let's see what else. Hopefully, I will become a non-temporary member today.
You've done everything?
I've done everything. Joined the board. I've been a board, and I'm doing service projects.
Okay.
My first time will be with the Caramel Corn Friday. I have 12 to 2 and 2 to 4, so bear with me, whoever's going to be on my team.
You mean 12 to 4?
Well, but it's 2 sessions. Online, it's 2 sessions. Okay. And
We're gonna have one. Is this the program thing? Not one? You're disappointing.
and I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thanks, Tom. Nice to have you.
And we have Skipper.
Yeah.
President Tom, fellow Lions and guests, I have this happy message. Oh, I forgot. Just wanted to thank everybody that showed up for the Kettle Corn Adventure on Friday. I think having Ken Bottero lay down on Ocean Beach Highway was a great way to direct traffic into our parking lot. But some of his constituents must have gotten to him because he's not here today. The other dollar is,
Yeah.
Because I'm gorgeous?
let me take $2 back for that. Happy to see the mayor. Happy to have the board that we have at this point, and keep smiling and keep working at it. We're getting better and better, and it was fun doing cleanup on Monday. You should all come out, y'all.
Thank you, Skip. No, right? I'm coming to you, baby. But I have to walk this way. Mr. Reinecke. Okay, past everything.
There you go. That's probably true. Probably true.
King Lion Tom, fellow lions, guess, pass everything? I'm not gonna tell you what I passed recently.
I don't want to know.
Anyway, 2 happy bucks. One is I'm, as always, you're happy to be here or wherever you are at that particular time because the alternative is bad. And the other one is I got up this morning and the sun was out almost, and I thought it's going to be a beautiful day. We got ready to come down here, and I looked out and there was wet stuff and hail. So I said, "That's March. Bye."
You'll be able to get a suntan tomorrow, Jim. Don't worry.
No, he better not.
I can't get
He's got skin cancer problems. Hi, Mr. Phil.
Let's go to Phil first. How about Phil first? Right, Phil.
President Tom, fellow Lions and guests, 2 mixed dollars. Oh boy. Fall. Tomorrow, our house is spotless for photos tomorrow for the listing of our house. But it's been awful quiet in our house since our granddaughter's family moved to Phoenix. The girls will be back next week for spring break in Arizona. So not only will our house not be quiet, it will not be spotless.
What are you talking about? House?
I have a method. Mr. J. Christensen.
Just carry that bucket, Pat.
I have a method.
Good morning, President, fellow Lions and guests. How did I do? Okay.
You did fine.
All right. You know, this is a good group of Lions.
Yes, we are.
I haven't had a hug from a nice lady for I don't know how long. This morning I came in here and got not one, but 2 hugs. Oh.
How do you know they were nice? How do you know she's a lady? Oh!
I quit. Okay, you're all going to be treated like my brothers now, and you know how I treat my brothers?
I don't think I want to know.
I don't think you want to know. Thank you. All right, this guy.
President Tom, fellow Lions guests, where is Dwayne Smith at? There he is. Dwayne, yesterday I was out at the shop and they checked out that pickup that you did all the work on. That is beautiful. It's a great job. Finally, somebody knows how to work on a truck.
King Lion Tom, fellow Lions and guests, just a happy dollar.
Because you remembered to
Pat.
say it.
For great memory.
Not having been married for a long time, just be quiet, follow the lead.
Yes, Jerry.
Jerry would love it if I did that.
Smart.
Hey, before we run into Lion Mark, President Tom, fellow Lions and guests, we had 12 people at a huge McMansion in Silverdale on the water. All of our kids together, 9 birthdays being celebrated, and in true Palmer fashion, about 600 pounds of food and 3.5 gallons of liquor are all now in our tummies and bellies. We had a great time. Everybody had super fun together, and I recommend those kind of outings and memory-making kind of places. So there you go. That's my fun. Feeling better every day. Life's good. And I'm giving Isla a bunch of junk because she deserves it.
Good pictures on Facebook there, Pat.
Yeah, they were kind of fun.
President Tom, fellow Lions and guests, dollar number 1 is I finally was able to go to a visitation after many years. Went to the Plymouth Lions last night with Steve and Marilyn Patterson, who are not here today because they're helping, I think it's in Wharton Lions with the Lion screening. Dollar number 2 had an impromptu trip Saturday evening. My son, who 2 years ago bought his dream pickup for $70,000, great big 4-wheel drive diesel truck, has decided he needed something a little more affordable than 8 miles to the gallon of diesel. So I drove him up to Tacoma so he could buy another inexpensive vehicle to come down through that. And dollar number 3 finally committed. We are going on, I think it's April 26th, back to Oahu. Many of you know that I discovered my biological father, and he's in an assisted living facility there, so heading back over there.
Right, thank you, Mark. You didn't look at your notes one time.
Just in case. You're spoken for, that's why.
Cracks me up. People have to write notes to remember what they're gonna say.
That's okay, James. You ever heard them speak?
Mr. Hal Palmer.
Thank you, most honorable tail twisters, fellow lines. I'm putting a happy $5 in. One, seeing the wonderful mayor here, one of the smartest mayors we've ever had in the city of Longview. Oh yeah, it's not. I can't say that anymore, can I? You can say it, right? But the rest of that money is, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would live long enough to have a 63-year-old brother.
Holy.
Hey, did you get that message I left you?
Yeah.
Guess what? I sung him happy birthday on Sunday on the phone.
Yeah!
That's what you get for not answering.
For being a little, that's what you get for being a little hungover. Let's just realize, so since I have a 12-year older brother than myself, in June, Hal will be 75. 3/4 of a century. Yeah. So what we're gonna do, I think we should have Hal and Jim Reinecke do a race. Are we gonna go up there next, or are we gonna go over here next? We're gonna go over here
Did we
next.
sing you happy birthday last week?
Of course we did. Oh, we totally did. Hey, Cindy.
President Tom, members and guests, I have $1 for kettle corn. I did 2 shifts and the weather was really nice, so I enjoyed being outside with everybody, had a great time. And $2 is a sad dollar because we were gonna go to Kalama to visit, but Louie's mother just got out of the hospital and she requested us to come down there to see her, and she's now in hospice. So there's that. And then I have I have $1 here because I want to give Tom a bad time because we do have his new badge. It was in the box and he didn't look for his badge and he's not wearing it. So Tom, here's your badge.
Thank you.
Now we know. Just trying to follow your lead, that's all. Mayor, how are you?
Thank you.
Nothing's free, some of it hurts. Yeah. Nothing? Back to Dave? Okay. Anybody else want to jump in before I get to Dave? Dun, 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 dun. Nope. It's all you, Dave. Are you standing up just for us?
Well, I was trying to find my badge, but I think it's on the table out back.
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna sing or what?
Um,
Or what? Or what?
Lion dance.
here's 2 happy bucks. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time this morning. President Tom, fellow Lions and guests. Why I'm having a hard time is I'm gonna bring it out. I've had some gas problems, and I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There's other problems I've had, but we don't look at problems. We look at the happy things of life. The spring and the, I don't know what this is, winter. What is this, winter? Spring?
It's the end of it. What is it?
Spring.
Spring. I'm sorry.
It's wing or
Yeah,
spring.
you look at the beautiful, you look at the beautiful flowers, and beautiful, beautiful girls that walk by. And I'm gonna just go, boy, there's the prettiest little filly I ever saw.
He said pretty girls that walk by.
I'm staying right here, people.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh.
All right, neighbor, it's time to.
All right.
Time to
No,
sing.
I'm just gonna go with the same one, I guess. I'm gonna sing a different one. I'm so happy, and here's the reason why. Jesus took my burdens all away. Once the life was full of sin and strife. Now I'm singing as the days go by. Jesus took my burdens all away.
Just right. Thanks, David. No problem. President Tom.
That's it?
I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
You know what? You're looking awful handsome today. Just wanted to say it.
Who?
You? You look good, buddy.
Not as good as her.
That's right.
Not as pretty as your wife. No, you're not.
It's not
I
married.
knew that. Lateros, nice you could be here late.
Should we go ahead and extract money from them?
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking about you.
Thank you for being late. I thank them for being late.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this over to Pat so she can introduce a guest.
Thank you. Most of you, or a lot of you here already know MaryAlice Wallis, who is our mayor. This is her second term, and she did a bang-up job her first term, so we're still hoping here for some more. MaryAlice was elected to Longview City 2017. She is a local Mark Morris High School and Lower Columbia College graduate. After graduating from Western Washington University, she worked for several years in her field of study, speech pathology and audiology, for ESD 112, and currently offers private speech services. She and her husband David of 33 years have raised and homeschooled their 4 children in Longview. MaryAlice is involved in local politics, serves as the mayor of Longview, is active in her church, and author of 3 children's scriptural puzzle books, and loves to work outside in her yard, take long walks on the coast, and purposely plans day trips to homemade ice cream shops. So we'll give her a good welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stand up since my height of my seat is the same height I am. The only revision I would say to that, no, I gave you the wrong information because this is an old bio. I have been married almost 35 years to my sweetheart, and I am editing another book. So it's a homeschool book. So I'm excited to offer that hopefully in the fall, maybe, I don't know. Editing takes a long time. Thank you very much for President Tom for inviting me, his lovely wife Pat, to share some words with you today. Would you like me to use the laugh? What would you prefer?
No, that's all.
Okay.
He puts that on PLTV.
Oh.
This goes to our shut-ins.
Okay. I want to give the floor to all of you today as well. So I understand I have a few minutes to talk. I was going to share some words that I wrote about R.A. Long, our founder. I understand there's some deep roots with our founder and this organization. I don't have to share that if you'd rather not, but I also wanted to talk about some projects that are happening and that have happened within the city of Longview. And of course, answer your questions, anything you might have. So I'll just move forward with my little expose on R.A. Long, because I think it's it's kind of telling, and it's a good remembrance. We do have a 100-year celebration coming up next year in 2023. We have a team of people led by Reed Hadley to work on the various aspects, lots and lots of aspects of having a 100-year celebration, as you can imagine. And so that team has been well underway. And if any of you want to be a part of that team, you could certainly reach out to Reed, and he'd love to hear what you have to say, and he may reach out to you at some point as well, because he's got lots of ideas up his sleeve. So let's start out this way. I imagine that philanthropist R.A. Long, Robert A. Long, founder of our planned city of Longview in 1923, I imagine him looking out with great satisfaction from across the vast landscape of Site E, perhaps from Rainier Hill, which was to become the city of Longview. The land sat perfectly between the two flowing rivers, the Cowlitz and the Columbia, both of which begged for active industry along their shore's edge. His vision for industry, schools, and a centric civic hub of town would be on the books as a planned city, a city beautiful, and would include a library, a post office, city hall, and historic Monticello Hotel. I can only imagine the thrill of plans to create a lovely gathering area for families to picnic and play, or to take in an occasional swim or day of fishing on the banks of Fowler's Slough, later to become Longview's crowning gem, Lake Sacagawea. So much transpired during those early development years, countless hours in meetings and studies with shareholders such as Bell, Vandercook, Nichols, Kessler, Morris, and Tennant. As a result, in the early 1920s, families began to arrive in droves to establish along the west side neighborhoods and build their homes and businesses throughout the city. Many individuals that have lived generation to generation have witnessed the growth of the paper mills, the lumber companies, railroads, businesses, hospitals, schools, churches, roads, and homes. The early years of diligence paid off, and those that came to town later on said, "What is that smell?" And the town folk merrily stated, "That's right." So fast forward to the 2000s. With a downtown revitalization plan in place, newly paved streets, new parks, new industry, beautification of Lake Sacagawea, a transit center, continued growth, new neighborhoods, new homes, lots of multi-generational family ties. Just the other day, I spoke to an older woman on the phone that grew up in the same neighborhood that my dad grew up in. She remembered the Lloyd boys on field, and it brought a smile to my face. Yes, I'm a Lloyd, Tom Lloyd's daughter, if anybody remembers him. Over the years, our little community has sent people to the legislature, elected countless others to city council, retired and rehired police and fire chiefs, city managers and employees. We have a Pulitzered our paid newspaper, become Tree City and Nation City, USA. We have busted out roads to build shopping malls and businesses and have added a beautiful gazebo to R.A. Long's Jefferson Park. In a few months, we will have a brand new 50-acre business park at the Beach Street extension, which from the writing of this paper we hadn't, but we do now, to accommodate aspiring businesses, a 911 center, which now is built, newly paved roads on Oregon and California Way, and with the hopes of our legislative capital fund request, the reconstruction of Martin Stock and newly constructed bathrooms and sidewalks at Hemlock Plaza at Lake Sacagawea. I think it's fair to say that Mr. Long and the early city planners would be proud of this little planned city that was put in motion by the awe-inspired ideas to create a city beautiful. I feel a sense of pride and gratitude to be a recipient of the great work of the early pioneers. I wonder, what role do we as citizens play to add to that beauty and perpetuate the growth and vitality of our community? Are we reasonable with our wants and our needs? Are we contributing in a positive way? Do we trust in and support the stakeholders of today to keep the vision of yesterday? I love our city beautiful. I marvel at the imagination and ingenuity of the early leaders, thrill at the continued transformation and developments, and I love the opportunity of serving as your mayor. It has been a true pleasure. This is my second term to serve as the mayor of Longview. I'm the 23rd mayor and the third woman mayor of Longview. Thank you. I don't see a lot of lionesses in here, but I rejoice that we have a handful, and I'm sure there are some sitting quietly behind the scenes doing what they would do, and so they're all at the head table. That's right. We women know what we're doing. We got this going on. So since I've been, since the last couple of years, I do a monthly newsletter, and that expose that I just read is one of my newsletters. But something that I wanted to add to the city is kind of a newsletter that goes out to the community members. Anybody can get access to it. It's published at our city, but it gives kind of a rundown of things that are happening within our city to help with the communication within our city. We always want to have good communication, right? We don't want to find out tomorrow about something that we wished we would have kind of been able to weigh in on or know a little bit more about. And so some of the activities that we have approved to the Longview City Council in 2021, and I'll just read the list that I have, and you might have your own opinions of how these things went, but these are things that the Longview City Council put forth in 2021. We have a homeless encampment within the city, which is now allowed for 1 year with 100 people. A homeless pilot project, which is a partnership with Cowlitz County. I bring these up because we have a lot of discussion about them. Nearly weekly, I'm in discussions about this particular topic. We haven't yet heard back from our county on the pilot project. It's still in process, so that project is still on hold for the better part of until we hear back from the county. We added crosswalk signals at Civic Circle. This was brought forth to me by a constituent that wanted to have the flashing beacons, the bigger ones, at Civic Circle for safety. And so that's a project that I actually got a 2 signature on, and pleased that we're going to, I think those either been installed or in process. We got a $4.7 million grant to resurface Washington Way. And that will be from Washington Way at the library all the way to Industrial Way. So really beautiful grants. Grants are always fun to get, and the public will be able to weigh in on that process. You probably have heard a few things about that, but we're going to trust our public works and the public to weigh in on what that will look like. Multiple roads, city roads and that cross schools and parks have speed reductions. I don't know how many of you are happy about that. You've probably seen some speed reductions around the community. I think it will take probably, I don't know, a couple years before people move in and then move out of Longview, and then new people move in to realize we actually have speed reductions in Longview. 2 behavioral health specialists that work full-time with the Longview Police for mental and behavioral health calls. This has been a huge win for our community to help curtail some of the actions that have happened with our homeless population. We have a lot of mental illness, a lot of drug abuse that goes on there. And these behavioral units, behavioral health specialists, actually work within our police department and attend some of those scenes where we need extra help that the police officers aren't skilled to give. We have a $133,000 grant that was acquired to help reestablish the Longview Police Officer Bicycle Patrol. So that's a lot of stuff, right? That was some of the things that happened last year. That takes a lot of hours, just like you meeting together and making your plans. City Council meets together and makes plans and ratifies these decisions and then moves forward using staff time to help. At this point, do you have any questions from those? Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
You mentioned roads being repaved. What does it take to get some of our neighborhood streets repaved? Because I'm going to start sending my realignment on my tire bill to the city of Longview.
Sure. Great question. We have, so since the last ice storm and the last rainstorm and the last blah, 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 I know even the street down from me has been filled with, they do a top, what's it called? What's that called? Chip seal. Yes, they put a chip seal and then they have a process that goes from that. So if your road has had that first chip seal, then that's one thing. If it hasn't, and you're really still concerned, you got big potholes, take a picture, send it to asklongview.com. It's on our mylongview.com site. It's a link on there called Ask Longview. And you can get an answer within 24 hours for that very question.
Just for your information, Upper Fishers Lane and Castleman.
So part of the reason that that might be an issue there is part of that road is city, part of it's county, and part of it is Kelso. So it's a little bit tricky there, so.
Well, Castleman is still off.
We're neighbors, so I can grieve with you. We can have a little pity party.
I forgot to put $1 because I didn't read my list. They're working on our road. Thank you so much. It's been in so
Disrepair. Yes, disrepair.
for a while. And we left the house, and the house is just like kind of rocking because they're right in front of our house, patching that part of it. And so I can say, the house is rocking, but nobody's home.
So thank you for sharing that. We do have, you see these sidewalks and curbs, potholes, that's a big part of our job, and our public works is on it. There's a lot of roads that are in disrepair, and they're out every day. Go ahead, Ken.
Mayor Wallis, I'm not going to ask you anything about the city because the city is in perfect shape.
Thank you.
However, I would like to ask you to work with Reed and the committee on the anniversary celebration. If you go to the Longview Pioneers website, you'll find out that this Longview Pioneer Lions Club was a very integral part in getting the city of Longview formed. Quite a bit has never been brought out publicly about what this Lions Club has done. But if you can look at the website, and Cindy will give you the information how to get on it, and look at the history of this Pioneer Lions Club and include us in the big celebration coming up, it would be gratefully appreciated.
Well, thank you. I can sure pass along that information, or if any of you would like to, the meetings for the centennial are weekly. They were being held at the community church, and now I think they're being held at the YMCA. I've attended several of the meetings. It's just,
Do you know what night?
It's in the morning. So it's like it's a morning meeting on a Wednesday, like at 9 a.m. And maybe I can get some information to Pat about those meetings
The Lions are celebrating their 100th next year also.
So that's really great that we have other organizations that are celebrating their 100th anniversary. We have some really cool things planned for it, but certainly worth mentioning that the Lions Club is turning 100 as well. So thank you. Go ahead.
Mayor Wallis, always a pleasure to see you. One of the things that I can tell you as a small business owner in the area who supplies a number of items to the city of Longview, one of the things I'm noticing, and I want you to be aware of, hopefully, is that the number of people who have worked for the city of Longview are nearing, a large number of them, they're nearing the ends of their careers. We need to have that wonderful transition of information and thought processes onto these new hires. And I'm hoping that we can delay or stop some of the roadblocks that have been caused by folks leaving in the last 5 years that have left us in a place where we don't know what our history is. So that's just a straight comment. I would like to say that today's folks at the city are exceptional human beings. They're thoughtful, they're precise, they're very, very intelligent. So you got a good crew lead.
Thank you so very much. I feel the same. We have in the last several years been working on that succession planning. We have a brand new community development director, Ann Rivers. She's a senator for the 18th district. She's a fine woman. She's very skilled and experienced in that. I think we'll see her here for a long time to come. We have a brand new public works director in Ken Hash. We'll see him for several years. These great grants that we're talking about. He has brought so many grants to the city. We have 46th Avenue. If any of you live down there, that's going to be completely redone. That's a road that missed every opportunity for the last 100 years to get developed. And so you're going to see a beautiful new road with sidewalks and curb belts and all of the things that are important to a road. We call it a complete street. So you'll see some beautiful things there. So that's Ken Hash. We have an administrative services director, Chris Swanson. She has a lengthy resume of, you may have remembered her from being our county auditor. She's fantastic, and we are more than pleased to have her at the helm of our IT and finance areas in our community. We have, of course, Kurt Saha, who's been there for 45 years this summer, an amazing city manager who served as our finance director. So that's our basics, exec, staff, higher level directors. We have Jen Wills, who's the director of Parks and Rec, fantastic woman who's just leading out and doing so many wonderful things throughout our city, elevating our Mid-Valley Golf Course to now we are having people from all over Washington State and Oregon coming to our Mid-Valley Golf Course to enjoy our golf course, and that's just one side thing. She takes care of the parks and the recreation side of things as well. So yes, thank you for that. We're really in good hands, and I feel like it's taken a long time to get to where we feel real confidence in our leaders and moving forward. Not that we weren't not confident, but we just have some really fantastic directors. So, any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
What about bringing softball back out to Roy Morris? It's been, softball was huge here. That's how I came to town. My dad bought a Shamrock in '72 with the fast pitch team. I worked for the city of Stormwater for 37 years. I left with a lot of knowledge, and they would call me up for a year and a half asking that, and finally I told them, stop, you guys have to figure it out. So the softball was huge in this community, and basically it went bye-bye, you know.
Well, as anyone here might know, everything costs money. Our Roy Morris Park had a park revitalization plan for a sports complex to redo that park to be a sports complex that could accommodate multiple teams from all areas. So I don't know if you're talking about not pro, not semi-pro, but just teams. Right now, it's really just up to the leagues to come if they're interested in being a part of those. We don't solicit that. They would come here and want to be a part of that and sign a permit to be a part of the property out at Roy Morris and use those lands. We haven't sent anybody away. So if they're not here now, then they may have found fields that they want to be another place, other places. The proposed plan that we had for the revitalization was upwards to, I think, $70 million to revitalize that entire property into a sports complex. That's a lot of money, and to bring a sports complex to town would take a ton of infrastructure and a lot of money and a lot of resources, and we would not be able to do that without a lot of help. So that project is still sitting there waiting for, people to come forward and say, we're here, we're stakeholders, and we want to make this happen for our community. And it's like that with a lot of different projects that we have within our community. We have revitalization projects for the library that have been approved. So we have an approved plan for Roy Morris to go forward with that. And when we have approved plans like that, it's not incumbent upon the city. That's taxpayer dollars. We have to be careful that we're sharing the load with all the entities that want to be a part of that. So it would be the teams coming forward and helping raise funds and looking out for grants and opportunities to be able to afford that ticket up. And that was all advertised through our newspapers and things like that, but it's jaw-dropping, right, to think of what it could be and how much it would cost. So there's always a price tag with everything. So it's a great question. The fields are there for the use. So if the teams aren't there, perhaps they've gone to other places. I know there are a lot of communities that are going to sports complex type venues, and so we could be losing some teams to those. We're working on doing some new lighting fixtures out at Roy Morris Park. With our infrastructure failing on different places within our community, we have to be really careful because, again, everything comes with a price, and if you're focusing on one area of time, or one area of the community, and spending all the money focusing on one area, then another area is going to say, well, wait, what about us? You know, you haven't been focusing there. So it does bring a fair amount. We had a lot of teams come and say, this would be really fantastic for our community. We don't disagree. We really think that is true. It's just to get those fields up to the quality of where they would need to be to bring in all those teams would be a very high price tag. So, yeah. Not out of the question, but we might need some bigger industry to help support some of these things. So, all right, let's move forward, and I will tell you some of the investments that we could see here in Longview's future with a plan called the American Recovery Act funds. It's the ARPA funds that we received from the federal government. We, as a city, received $8.2 million to help with infrastructure, and the plan that was presented to council from a subcommittee was to add a dedicated water main fill line from Mint Farm Water Treatment Plant to our primary water reservoir. Now, I think a lot of people here that are unhappy with Longview Water will be very happy with this decision, because what this means is you'll have water that tastes like it used to from the Cowles River. So I think once this moves forward, now knowing this, hopefully you'll be a cheerleader and a champion for it as well. A long-range plan would be to create the Clark Creek Master Pump Station. This will eliminate 5 pump stations and simplify water distribution, reducing maintenance and operation costs. Another was stormwater enhancements at Indian Creek for stormwater and flood mitigation, exchanging potable water irrigation for utilizing stormwater irrigation. This is all stuff that's probably in your league, but a little over my head. And this would help with irrigation at our Mid-Valley Golf Course, saving thousands in potable water costs. Right now we're spraying our fields, and it's costing an enormous, and I say fields, I mean the greens, costs so much money. And so we're going to use the ponds that are out there to help use that as a irrigation and retain that water and spread that water around. Another was the assistance through developer agreements for 43 acres immediately and 28 acres for future residential development. We have a lot of land, and we just need to get the infrastructure in place to get that land ready so that developers, maybe there's some here in this room, would like to develop property for housing, because that's probably our number one need in our community is more housing. So this would open up quite a lot of space for residential development. Also, we have a contactless materials checkout system at the Longview Public Library using the radio frequency identification. These are things that were approved through our ARPA funds. And then facility maintenance projects at the library, Women's Club, the Longview Police Department building, and the Mid-Valley Golf Pro Shop. So that plan was approved early in the year, and with the funds, those things are ongoing. Those are the things that were approved. The list is a lot bigger, but those are the highlights. Since this year, 2022, I was re-elected as the mayor. We also have 2 new voices on council. We have Councilmember Angie Ween and Councilmember Spencer Boudreau. They are new council members. We have new housing opportunities at Mount Solo Estates. So you might, if you live out that way, you've probably noticed a lot of trucks and a lot of infrastructure going in for different phases, phase 2 and many more to come. So I think once they build the lots, they're sold almost immediately out there. So beautiful homes. Is that a question? Okay. And then we have 46 acres, which I talked about earlier, comprising 15 business lots available at Longview Business Park at Beach Street. If you've had a chance, or if you haven't, take a drive down Oregon Way and then take a left. If you're going towards the Rainier Bridge, take a left onto Beach Street. You can drive it all the way through now to California Way. Hopefully businesses will start popping in there. There's 14 business lots, beautifully sized with a great view of the Rainier Bridge and the river. Really nice property out there. I talked briefly about the upgrades to Lake Sacagawea, Hemlock Plaza, and Martin's Dock. Those will start beginning here soon. With the celebration of the 4th of July, which we know is massive here, and you play a big part of that. We will either, if we don't, with the rain, if we don't get everything that we were hoping to for the sidewalks in before a certain period of time, before July the 4th, it'll happen right just very soon after. So I hope that we get that in before so that we can enjoy those brand new sidewalks. The bathrooms probably will come a little later, and the Martin's Dock, all that will happen this year, but it's wonderful. We have a fantastic legislative body that works very hard on our behalf. The session has just finished this last week, and with that session, there were some new, we call them, it's part of our legislative agenda to ask for different things for our community, and we never know if that's going to work. This is a supplemental budget year, and in that supplemental budget, we were able to ask for the replacement of the senior center roof. We were able to acquire $200,000 for that. We also, if you play pickleball over at Vanderbilt Park, you will have bathrooms there. That's brand new. We were able to acquire $200,000 to $300,000 to put a bathroom there for that park. Some of the other legislative, I don't know if you're interested in the legislative priorities or for our community and how they fit, but some of the reforms for the police were taken back. Some of the bad bills that happened last legislative session with our police officers and their ability to do their job, we were able to have the legislation change some of those. So Longview is committed to the safety of our residents and strongly supports the additional training and resources, including expanding mental health intake facilities to keep our community safe. However, the city believes that there's a need to refine legislation enacted in 2021 to resolve unintended consequences and provide clarity to various police responsibilities, actions, and uses of equipment. That was our ask, and it's not the full bill has not come back to us, but we believe that we're going to have some refinement from that. Any questions?
No. I think that we just about done.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So if you ever want to contact the city, not just for a street idea, but let's say you see a sign that's tipped on your street, or you see something that just doesn't look right. It's just not, it doesn't fit what you're normally used to seeing. We want to know about it. We may not see it. It could be on a side street. Go on to mylongview.com. That's our city's website. You'll see my newsletter. You'll see the agendas for the city, but if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see or I think it's actually at the top now. I think they've changed it. It's one of the icons right across the middle. It says Ask Longview. Click on it, and then a screen will come up, and it will have all the departments that we have in our city, and you can click on one of those departments that you would think that, if you have flooding out front, or if you have a sign down, or whatever, it will give you an idea of what that goes with. And if you just don't know, click on something, put in a picture. You can take a picture, and then it'll go straight to that department, and within 24 hours you'll say, we've received your request and we're working on it, or we've received your request and we solved the problem and here's what we did. And it's a great resource for our community. Any other questions? Yeah. One more question, I think.
Have you ever calculated how many hours you spend a week in your office as mayor? Not in the office, I mean everything you do.
Sure. It's really hard because I'll get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night or whatever, or throughout the day. I spend a fair amount of time every day doing city business, like any probably like a full-time job would offer 40 hours a week, I would say. My husband probably thinks I spend a lot more than that, but I'm just available anytime, and I would love to talk to you if you have any questions for me. Please either make an appointment with me at the office, or I'll meet you at a location that works for you. I want to be transparent. I want to be helpful. I love being your mayor. Thank you for inviting me today.
Great. Thank you, MaryAlice. Here's a mug and an application for you.
Wink, wink.
Okay. Well.
She's married to a Colombian.
All right, so sunshine report. Do we have anything that people know? I got a card, or the club got a card, thank you card from, it says, "Thank you Pioneer Lions for the warm thoughts and well wishes. I appreciate the phone calls, cards, and messages I received during this episode of life. Please know that things are moving along and they miss each and every one of you, Dina." So she just says continued prayers are appreciated. So I just thought I'd let people know that. All right, Steve's not here, so you know there's a spring conference, May 13th and 14th. If you haven't signed up, there's registration forms probably back on the table.
Right there. They're right there.
Okay, cool. Bob Bradley wants help with tables and chairs after the meeting is over. So if you have a few minutes to help move chairs and tables around, greatly appreciated. Okay, Cindy, I'll give it.
President Tom, members and guests, we have some things coming up in the future. So there's zone meeting, the zone 1 meeting, that's our group, is going to be at the Kalama Lions, 6:30, that's 4/11, that's April 11th. So I'll have a sheet out there so we get a head count. And then the next event to put on your calendar is the President's installation. That will be June 10th, that's a Friday. And the other one is this Thursday, the Eagles are putting on a corned beef cabbage dinner and some festivities. So we're going to be here at 5:30, wearing our, we'll be here, so maybe some of you could come join us. It's 5:30 this Thursday. Thanks. And it's by donations? Okay.
All right, Louis, you wanna?
President Tom, fellow members and guests, I want to thank everybody that helped with the kettle corn this last Friday. It was a success. I mean, we made some bucks on it. And we have one coming up this Friday. We could use some help for, especially the setup. And we start setup at 8 o'clock in the morning. I know some of you it's too early, but 8 o'clock. And that's all I got for kettle corn. And I want to thank all the ones so far that has donated to the new chuck wagon. I thank you for donating. And those of you that are thinking, I'm thanking you too. And we have vision screening coming up. Me and Cindy's going down to Maysell tomorrow. The Peninsula Lions wanted to help on that one. And then on Thursday, we're going up to Toodle to do the 7th grade up there. So anyway, anybody that wants to help, let me know. And I think that's it.
Hey Louis, do the schools still require you have to have your vaccination card?
I think this year they do.
I'm going to say, I'm assuming they are.
Okay.
And to that setup for, you meet at 8 o'clock at the shop or at the parking lot?
At the parking lot.
At 8 o'clock?
at Safeway parking lot at 8 o'clock. Darlene?
President Tom, fellow lines and guests, just a reminder to past presidents, meeting Wednesday night, 6 o'clock, Kelso Elks, to go over options and stuff for next year. And if any of you are interested, we do have some openings like for lion tamers and 2-year directors and stuff like that. So if you're interested, talk to a past president. Thank you.
All right, well, Greg, you didn't have anything, did you? Greg? Okay. Oh, Terry does.
Oh, Terry! He's off the golf course.
Yeah, talking about that golf course, all the water I drop on there, I'll tell you, of course, it's closer to the trees. But anyway, yeah. Tears, yeah. In charge of the awards committee, it's nice to finally find somebody come here to accept their award. Of course, he doesn't know he got it yet, but that's okay. Thomas Hughes was Rookie of the Month for last month, January, so you were close. At any rate, thank you very much.
Good job.
He helped us do a raffle at the zone meeting.
Same year.
Man, they must like him.
All right, moving along here. We just got done with the announcements, so I'm gonna move on to the tickets. All right, and with that said,